Jason is here.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jason Board from MakingStarWars.net. How's it going, Rob? This
I just
Rob.
got a holiday message from Bob Iger in my email.
Oh yeah.
It's
Was it
stupid?
was it pre-scheduled? Does it say what's it like
Yeah.
being homeless, loser?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh no, that was supposed to cancel that one.
Yeah. Wait till we put all our movies on Tubi. You know.
Yeah, you sent me something this morning, right? About Tubi getting all the DC stuff.
All the DC stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh,
Yeah. I told you they're all just gonna hawk this stuff out, man.
Yeah.
They're gonna go back to making physical discs, and they're gonna go back. All that stuff's gonna be undone because that's where the profit margins were.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You know, there's a demand and there's a profit margin, and that's all they care about. So
Sure. You know, it's okay to care about that stuff if that's your business, but
it's a long way around to start back where you started, though, right?
yeah.
Like that's kind of my thing. Like it's like,
Well,
really?
it's like,
we gotta...
Rob, wait, what we have to understand is that they have to find the best way to fleece us. And if they don't, if they don't try things, they can't really figure out new ways to really just take stuff from us, But today we got some Skeleton Crew news. We got some of that. I invited Bespin Bulletin, but he's being a little bitch. He's like, oh, I gotta go walk my dog. I love him and he needs attention. Oh, pets. Oh, like what? What?
Gotta disagree with you on this one.
Oh, sorry. No, I agree with it. It was honestly the best example the best reason he's ever had in his whole life for not showing up.
Yeah, so. I'm like, go do that shit. He should just do his podcast while he walks his dog. I think
he's not built for this. I think it'd be really breathy. We'd hear a lot of like panting,
and then he has to get through all the SEO stuff while he's huffing and puffing.
But when Mario barked, we would go ah, and then we hear back to.
I'm so bummed out, dude. I'm like so bummed out. Every time we talk about the Skeleton Crew, I now want Skeleton Crew to be produced by Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie, where the kids do their own stunts. Like I just had these visions where little kids are hanging up the side of a real Millennium Falcon while they fly it through the air.
Right? Someone in the comments commented on Stunt Kids from yesterday, and I was like, yeah. I'm glad that they appreciated Stunt Kids as much as I did in my brain too.
I want them to ride the Huffy off the cliff and then like have to jump off it, right? Just see like the Rebo. You get to the GoPro shot. His hair's flying around like that gorgeous Cartman hair.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, Star Wars is getting nuts.
It was funny. I was looking up to make sure I was spelling the actors' names correctly. And the little boy who plays Neil, he also has that same hair part. So I started to wonder, did he get the part for looking the part, or did they add the part to the hair because he was the guy for the part?
This is my new favorite kid. I love him more than my own nephews at this point. Like
yeah.
None of them have the balls to have that hair.
I'm really careful. I'm really curious about the about like the personality of Neil. In the sense, like, is he going to be Chunk where he's talking about like vomiting and stuff, or is he going to be like an unsure kind of like nerd? And then what I mean? Who is
first
is it
3 minutes of the movie? Oh shit!
Yeah,
that's my Chunk.
Yeah.
That's how the Goonies won us over. The little kid cursing in the first 3 minutes, man. Like that's.
Oh yeah, that's what I was like. This guy belongs in our gang.
Yeah.
Fuck our gang. Spanky, that guy's a bitch. This is our gang. But
wow,
I put up some that's for Grandpa. Grandpa gets it. I put up some more stuff over on Star Wars News for us to look at today. And here we go. So MSW exclusive Skeleton Crew's Girl and Droid. This group is brought to you by the Making Star Wars show. So subscribe, you fucking monsters. Okay, do that. Subscribe and like the video. You could become a channel member if you want to support my endeavors. It ain't cheap driving around in this LA traffic. I ain't gonna lie. Before we get there, Mumbo, who's a channel member. Thank you, Mumbo. Neil with his hair seems like a really odd choice. Maybe Max Rebo just bald and the rest of them actually have hair. It's I know I've seen people saying that. I promise you, it's not weird when you see it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I would go with maybe Max Rebo's bald, or maybe he's a different version. Maybe he's a different, it's like a subspecies or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, we live in a world where the blue guy that Thrawn is and the blue guy George Lucas is aren't the same blue guy, but they're both blue guys, you know? And this is our blue elephants. So I don't know. Maybe there's more blue elephants. Maybe Max Rebo shaves, you know? Maybe he shaves his whole entire body. Did you ever think about that? I mean, I could have the comics binge look it up. He could scour through all of the various Star Wars comics and answer the question once and for all. Does Max Rebo shave his whole body? Does he have alopecia? Is he married to Will Smith? These are the questions that the comic binge will bring the answers to. He promises. Correct? That's correct.
I'll tell you
right?
what. I'll tell you what. Neil likes the Battle of Yavin, the way it's illustrated in Star Wars manga. Unlike Paul, he doesn't like the way it's drawn.
Yeah.
Jason.
Yeah. Right.
Blasphemy. It's blasphemous. Right. It's the best star fight ever put to paper. There is none better than the original Star Wars manga battle, the Death Star battle. Nobody has illustrated on paper a better starship battle than that. That's it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't really like it. I'm like, why? Oh, like, you gotta explain why. He doesn't explain it.
No, well, I'll explain it to you. Is that we're America first here?
Oh,
yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, America first.
Jason, they're gonna take those quotes out of context.
I know. I want to get some of that. I want to get some of those suckers from the Fandom Menace to start dropping 20s on me. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be a good time.
All right, 20 Lear.
I'll be like 20 for me, 20 for the ACLU, and I'll laugh. You know. Anyways, MSW exclusive, Skeleton Crews, Girl and Droid. And so subscribe to the video and all that. So the first one of the little girls' name is KB. And I'm not entirely sure on the spelling 1000%. Okay. It could be K.B, it could be KB. Yeah. Well, I've only heard it said to me. It's only been said to my face. I haven't so I'm not sure exactly how it's written. Another of the leads in Skeleton Crew is a girl named KB or KB, you know, like the KB Toy Store spelling. Crew members believe one of the creators, presumably John Watts or Christopher Ford, had fond memories of going to KB Toys and getting Star Wars action figures. But that toy chain went out of business, but the memories remain. That sentence made me laugh. I don't know why. It's not funny, but I laughed. I think KB is the girl with the visor and white hair played by Kriana Crater. I'd say there's a tiny chance the other girl is Ryan Kara Armstrong, but I think I got it correct and fingers crossed. And that's the whole thing is people are who know the names from the crew and stuff are like, yeah, I think that one's KB. And it's like, I don't like that, I think, but it is. I have heard the name several times, so I know KB is the name.
I would have also accepted Playco.
Playco.
And, Playco and TG and Y or Pick and Save.
Snokes Are Us. About that one? No.
Okay. I don't like Snoke. They ruined that villain, man. Dumb.
Look, listen, dude.
Stupid clones. I don't mind them killing him. It's this clone thing.
You need to look at it what it really is.
Snoke.
It's like when DeSantis puts on those giant platforms and gets tall. That's what it's like for Palpatine and Snoke.
You're
man.
in a political mood today. You know what it reminds? I was more thinking like, what's that place you go to where they take a bucket of crabs and just dump them on your table? Like that's what they do at Snokes, right? They just dump a bunch of Snokes and Palpatine's.
Anyways, America first. So America first. That's why we don't have KB toy stores or Toys R Us at this point.
I know. Thank you, Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney, you fucking asshole. And isn't it sad that he became like the best of them? Fucking monster.
Yes, the guy who stuck a dog on the top of his fucking car and went on a family vacation, like it was the dead grandmother from National Lampoon.
Oh, Rob, have you heard Devo's song about it?
That no, but now
I'll send it to you. It's good. Oh, it's good.
But that's the best they got. Fucking these guys.
Yeah. Devo did.
Remember Nandor from when he goes fucking hell, you know, these fucking guys.
So this today's a bunch of stray things that are in my brain that I'm like, I need to get out before I forget this shit because the shit's not coming out for a year now. We're like, 11 months now, probably. somewhere in the 11-month territory now. I mean, I need to get this shit out before I forget about it. Communicators. I almost forgot about that. As I mentioned before, the kids have BMX style bikes. I also dropped out they have flashlights. To top off the Amblin arsenal of tools, the crew uses walkie-talkies, just Star Wars up.
They got walkie-talkies?
Walkie-talkies. Walkie-talkies. So that's...
We can stop talking into a chapstick thing right now. We could actually have a real walkie-talkie.
Well, it's like, yeah, imagine the kid is on a bike, stops and turns on the flashlight into the fog and then gets the communicator and is talking to Neil. It's like, it does the whole thing. All of the, like I said, all of the tools that the Goonies have, they have.
Does he stick his tongue through a painting and go, "Hey, Bobby, if I could give me a big wet kiss"?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
A painting of Palpatine.
Yeah,
anyways,
painting of Palpatine.
And then I think it's safe to assume that if KB is the girl with the visor, which I'd say there's a 90% chance that is what is the correct name to that character. But I am being open that there's a 10% margin of error. It's the other girl. But I'm going to assume that she's also going to have special powers like Data, right? She has a visor. She's the tech girl. She's going to have the ability to hack.
That's a girl with the visor. That's not. All right.
Yeah.
I'm confused. A little gender neutral for me on that one. Like I was like,
either
way.
Oh, you didn't know that the visor is a girl?
Huh?
You didn't know that the person with the visor and the white
hair
is a girl? I
gotta be honest with you, I can't tell anymore. I mean, even when we were kids, I thought John Travolta was a girl when I was a kid. So
yeah, you think everybody's Leah Thompson, so that's making a lot of sense to me now.
Well, oh, I got someone confused the other day that you would have been proud of. Like, I'll remember it. I'll remember. Yeah, I'll remember.
A classic Robism.
Oh, so classic Rob. I was like, I'm stupid.
Yeah, you're all. Man, I thought that Billy D. Williams was Barack Obama. All right,
I do think the guy who plays Zola in Mission Impossible looks like Adam Driver.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Don't know who that is, but I'll give you that. Maybe
he's the brother for the White Widow. Oh,
my God. Did you watch Adam Driver on SNL this week?
No, I don't. I've never. Last time I watched SNL was an Eddie Murphy episode.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's weird.
I don't find it funny.
Well, let's put it this way. Yeah, I was looking forward to the episode because I like that vampire song that Olivia Rodrigo does. And I like Adam Driver. And the last time Adam Driver was on SNL, it was really good. Probably because of Bobby Moynihan, mostly, I'd say. But when I watched it, this weekend's one, it was one of the worst ones I remember watching in years. Like, it was bad. And then, and I thought, is this just me? Am I not in the mood? Am I just in a bad mood or something? But in the last, 24 hours, stuff has been coming out about, Cecily Strong was in a skit and they pulled her out of it and stuff. Because it wasn't funny, I think. Well, she was a cast member who was liked, and she came back to do the rehearsal version, and then it wasn't in the next one. And yeah,
the problem I think is Lorne Michaels is still in charge of all this, right? And
it's just not going to be funny. The show's old and it's played out. Yeah, I would think it's just not ever going to do any favors to sketch comedy, and that book that we just read over the summer about all of the bullshit behind the scenes there doesn't sound like it's conducive to creativity either, does it?
And I know this is a tangent, but guys,
this is Making Star Wars show. It is a tangent.
We should just call it Making Tangents.
Yeah.
I think comedy, man, especially skit comedy, puppets, anything like that, works better when there's almost little to no budget. Like I think that I'd rather see two people on stage pretending to be something than having all this crazy makeup. And the only time I've seen it work is the Key and Peele stuff, but even then it's like Chappelle light, right? Chappelle stuff looked better when it was lower tech. I still think the Chappelle stuff looked better with a lower budget.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Key and Peele is probably the last sketch comedy show.
But even the visuals get in the way sometimes. It's too
that
much.
Lando skit though was fucking good. Where they're on Cloud City.
Some great stuff, man. I'm not. I'll leave it on. A bad Key and Peele is still better than the best of SNL at this point, in my opinion. But
Well, once again, you
But
didn't watch it, so you can't say. But I agree with you. You're
I
right. You are
but
right.
like the Eddie Murphy thing, the best stuff was the low tech stuff. You know, it's just
Yeah,
him like with the elf. Does it just be funny
but I
and give
mean,
me
but
shitty
I will.
costumes?
SNL
And
got better than the Eddie Murphy era at some points, but
I didn't
at
like
this point, it doesn't
I didn't
matter.
like any of the Will Ferrell era when it was all sexual humor that just was like
Hmm.
in your face. Here's my balls. Here's my
Yeah,
balls. Here's my balls. Like that's all you got now. Like
I liked when they hadn't realized Dana Carvey was a major star, or going to be, or maybe going to be a major star, and like they just let him do whatever random bullshit he wanted. Like he did this one where he was a character named Massive Head Wound Harry, and he just looked like
I know. Yeah, that's
the guy
good.
from Pet Cemetery who got hit by the truck, like the guy who, like the jogger who died, like this massive head wound. And there's
Yes.
this episode where he's playing Massive Head Wound Harry, and a dog is in the sketch, but the dog could smell the corn syrup and like stands up and starts eating his head. It's
Starts
not
eating his
supposed
head.
to, and he's like, "You
Yeah.
must smell my dog," and it's funny. It's just
They're not doing
it's
that
good.
now. They're not doing that. Remember Dan
No,
Hooks when she would do like the diner like stuff
yeah.
where she's like just like they're just not I don't and it's not my era or my age. It's
Mhm.
not because that was better. They could be doing it now and I'd be praising it. It's just the budget
Yeah,
should do it's too safe. It's too I don't know, man. It's like
yeah.
some stuff
I,
you see on the View or the Ellen DeGeneres show. Like I'm not
well, now it's in an era where it's really sad. It's like baby boomers trying to impress TikTok kids, and it's just kind of cringy and embarrassing on that front.
Matter of fact, I can
It's
show you a great example of this in real time. Remember Ask a Ninja?
fucking hell. I got to go move my car, so I'll be
All right, I
right
thought he was
back.
fucking hell when I asked a ninja.
I'll be right.
Yeah, so like remember Ask a Ninja, folks? You go back to Ask a Ninja, and when it first started, it's super low tech, and then this guy gets a budget. It's not as funny anymore. It's not as funny anymore. So sorry to say. Sorry to say. So I'm gonna take any questions you have right now. Who wants a question? Who wants to ask a question? Give you does want to talk about Spreezy's hair? What do you want to talk about now? I gotta tell you, folks, I've seen stuff on Skeleton Crew, and looks cool. Rob, there we go. How many times have I seen Godzilla -1? And the answer is 0. And not that I don't want to see it, it's that it's not playing at my favorite theater in town, which is like a 4K laser projection. And so I refuse to spend the money it costs to go to the theaters uh, to see it in inferior quality. I gave it a shot the other day when I saw The Abyss. Last week I went to see The Abyss, and it was a shit theater, man. It just and it's like this really like nice looking theater, but the screen was dark. It was a waste of time and money. It's just not worth risking getting COVID. Like I'm not gonna go risk getting COVID to see, a dark ass film. Sabersmith says Adam Driver looked like he was bothered by this Star Wars stuff. I think he just always looks bothered though. He has that resting driver face. You know what I mean? So uh quick recap. Mama Joe says quick recap on my UFO experiences. Right. So look, man, I was the one talking to most crap about UFOs my whole life. Like I always thought, it was bullshit. Um, I did see the Bob Lazar stuff when that happened when he first went live back in like 89, 90, around there. I was at my cousin's house in Cerritos when that broke. But I saw the Phoenix Lights live when it happened they were broadcasting on San Diego in TV on TV. It was really funny that day. A homeless person hijacked a bus and was driving it around El Cajon, right? Just like driving the bus around. So like it was like cutting in between the UFO thing and a homeless person driving a bus, and everyone was rooting him on like it was OJ and the and the white Bronco. Like
I
it
just
was the
came back
weirdest.
to hearing that, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
It's just one of the weirdest nights of my life, man. I was like, "What are we doing here?" It was so crazy. And and then I watched the systematic removal of that story overnight, and then the press release launch of that story a month later. All of a sudden it appears with diagrams of balloons a month later. That's how I found Coast to Coast on the radio. I had heard of it. I'd heard Coast to Coast bits on tape, but I didn't know that was a radio show. I didn't know where my stepdad would have that stuff. But they were the only ones talking about the Phoenix Lights at the time because no one was. I thought for certain it would be everywhere the next day. Nothing. at least a debunking, right? Swamp gas. That was the big swamp gas, hot air balloon. Took a month. And so that's when I was like, all right, when you take a month, you're crafting a narrative, right? You have to coordinate something there. So there's that. The other one would be when I was I say again, it was when the Weekend the Dark Knight came out at Irvine Spectrum. It was Saturday showing. We had the 7 or 8 o'clock ticket, but it was that was when you didn't have reserved seats. You had to sit outside for like 7 hours. Like it was ridiculous. So we're sitting outside playing DS because I had nothing better to do. And it was dusk when the sun was setting and I was bored. So I literally just looked up and this pin of light comes down from the sky down. It was going down and then it stops. And that's when I go, whoa, I can physically set it out loud, right? I go, whoa. And they're like, what? And then it splits into two and then horizontally goes toward the coast. And I'm like, right there. Did you see that? No one saw it, man.
It was me. It was me.
Nobody saw it, So it's like that. That's 2008. So explain to me what has the ability to drop out of orbit pretty fast, Jason, when it came down. It wasn't a slow, rate of speed.
Okay.
So I just remember too at the Phoenix Lights, they were saying it was military flares and these hot air balloons. And then I ended up in the Army a year later and they put up those military flares with the hot air balloons for nighttime training. And they don't look a fucking thing like what we saw on TV, man.
I don't know. I just see black. Close. I just see giant football field style black triangles when I look up at those. So I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. You sound crazy right now. No, I'm kidding.
No, my half brother, Jeremy, he's in the band called the UAPs of all things. He actually opened for Berlin this weekend. The band Berlin. It's crazy. Yeah. He lives in Lake Havasu and man, he sees this stuff all the time and he's a fairly reliable dude,
Saber Smith says, I think Rob will really enjoy Godzilla -1. Me Pops, who hates everything, has now seen it 3 times and loves it. I'm telling you, it's one of the best movies. It's maybe the best popcorn movie of the year, I would say.
I'd love to see it, but I'm not going to see it in a crappy theater. It's just, it costs too much money. I want to see it in good, so I'll just wait till it comes home. I'm sorry to say.
You're missing out. You're missing fake fan. I'm kidding. Shogun Ordo gave a $5 super chat. I'm rich! Said, hey, I just had my own UAP sighting about 3 weeks. Whoa, where'd it go? 3 weeks back. I'm in the What the Fuck Club too now, Rob. Well, what happened, dude? Tell us what you saw.
I did in San Diego. I've seen, before drones were popular, I'd seen military drones fly around. It is, you don't have the same reaction to that. I mean, we're talking like almost silent military drones, like.
Okay, really quickly. Let's get past the scoop. We got to get past that because there's some people who are just watching for that, and we're veered up, but we'll go back to it for sure.
All right, 20. You go.
We got SM-33. I really like the design of the cruise droid named SM-33. The droid looks like K2SO, but doesn't appear to be military in nature. We speculate he may be called Sammy, based on the possibility of the name being pronounced phonetically. SM-33 has a fun design. If you see it in the leaked trailer, it can be missed how his bright eye obscures the way his faceplate cuts away, evoking a skull. He's thematically a good mascot of sorts on the front for the skeleton crew. So it's like he has like this bright eye and like the face kind of goes away and it just kind of gives this skull like image. It's a fun design. It makes sense. It's subtle, but it's there. And one last thing, I talked to a source on Mando 4, and they do not believe any of the Ahsoka plot is being assimilated into the Mando show, just a bonus baby tidbit. I know that's not really like a big thing, like a story. That's why I threw it onto that Reddit thing right there. I was just like, okay, so it doesn't look like that is being assimilated. And people I talked to on Mando believe that they are going to make Mando 4. So there you have it. You know what I mean? I don't think that there's anything
Mando
weird.
Movie.
I don't know if there is. It's not apparently going to affect the Mandalorian season 4.
That's
so yeah. So I don't, you know what I mean? But you know, but wait, I don't understand. You want it to be a movie, but you don't want it to be a show, but you want it to be more of a thing.
I think the Mandalorian show's played itself out at this point. You know, it'd be one thing if they were building a real sort of procedural thing, you know, that sort of has a storyline, but they've had 3 seasons now. And it's just this last season, man, like I'm like, it's getting worse. It's getting worse.
Well, the third season is objectively the worst season of the show, but it did heavy lifting that puts it into where it needs to be, so that Mando is our
I put that
hero
and
in the
Boba Fett
film.
together. I put that and Boba Fett. To me, they
Mm-hmm.
may as well be Mando seasons 3 and 4, as far as I'm concerned. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you know,
Well, like I said, I think that viewing Boba Fett, Mando, and even to some extent in the end Skeleton Crew and Ahsoka as all separate shows is just, it's a marketing trick. It's all the same show. It's all the same people. It's really where we are really getting an anthology series presented as different shows, so that way they don't have to pay people for it being part of an anthology
which is
series.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
Yeah.
what but the idea that in Mando 4 he's going to go to hunt stormtroopers with his baby, and then he does it as Thrawn comes back, that exponentially opens up the story potential and possibilities. Like, it does put it where it doesn't have to be, you know, if that didn't happen and we ended up with just moving on with, oh, now Mando's just gonna do the same shit, or what random movie from the 80s is John Favreau gonna watch now and make a whole season out of. I think that's a better trajectory. You know what I mean? Like, you could almost just dismiss season 3 if you don't like it, and then hopefully 4 picks back up where it's more palatable. That's my hope anyway. But yeah, KM22. Mando season 3 is like Iron Man 2. Bridge the gap enough to stage for the Avengers. Yeah, and also not a very good movie, right? At least I didn't think so. I liked the first Iron Man, but not the second one.
Nobody
I don't,
liked the second Iron Man, dude. That's
yeah.
one of those things where, look, it has a great sequence. The Monaco race sequence is a great, and
Okay.
a good villain in what's his face, Moon, right? Sam Rockwell, right.
Okay.
But that's a movie where Favreau hits a limit with the technique he does,
Right.
and the improv over what Marvel needs to checklist,
Mm-hmm.
right? Shtick worked in the first movie, and it didn't work in Iron Man 2. And he was initially set to direct the Avengers with the Zach Penn script, and that movie would have been a colossal failure. So that's
Okay.
one of the things where, like, Joss Whedon might be a fucking true asshole, but he saved the MCU, like,
Mm-hmm.
period.
Yeah.
So I feel Favreau's hit his limit with Star Wars too. He kind of does one thing, and then that's that. Like, that's that. Matter of fact, people, you know, the Lion King film he did made like $2 billion or something. But I stand by my opinion that his Jungle Book remake is a Lion King remake. It's the exact story of Lion King. It's the exact same bit. It's got the
Mm-hmm.
exact same beat. The ending where the boy goes back and then the female lion, they all. I'm like, so much when I walked out that theater, I'm like, they just turned the Jungle Book and the Lion King. How are they going to remake the Lion King? I'm like, oh, they'll just do it again. So he kind of like doesn't grow, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and sorry to say, that's why he's good with like those dinner for fives, because you can do the same thing over and over again. And you don't mind that sort of conversational show. You want the same bit over and over. But with Mando, when we're like, yeah, we've seen this joke before and it was funnier the first time, that's why I said it's progressively getting worse, because I don't think the guy look, I don't know anything about him. Like, I only say as a fan. I don't think the guy like critiques his work too much. I think he does what he does, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what I did. That's what I get from his work, and you know, like I appreciate a lot of the stuff he's done. At the same time, uh, like with Star Wars, I'm just like, well, like, just hand it to someone else to write. Like, I just don't
Yeah.
see any grand vision here. Like, what's the meaningful thing you wanted to do with season 3? Get all the Mandos back together. Could have done that. Anyone could have done that. It wasn't done in any deep and meaningful way. So it's like, why did this guy have to do it? What did he really bring to the nothing? Didn't bring anything to the table.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of got in the way of himself, to be perfectly honest with you. Like,
I mean, there are things to consider that might be at play here too. Like, you know, did he have, you know, was Pedro not being available a problem, because they were keeping the room open for Pedro and it never happened. There's like certain things that just make me go, like same thing with Yellowstone. They have to finish that show now without Kevin Costner. Fucking weird. And like Kevin Costner is a stupid asshole. That's why we're in the situation. But it's like that's just one of those things where like, is it gonna be good? Is that gonna end up leading to inspiration and it's gonna be an inspired ending of Yellowstone or not? And with Mando though, the answer was like no. Is that our protagonist became extraordinarily weak to such a degree that the supporting characters appeared to be the protagonist. You know what I mean? That's where I'm like, but to the credit, like with Skeleton Crew, it's not like that was Favreau's idea. They brought in new people and let the new people write it and do it. So, maybe that's going to be the start of that kind of shit. But I have to think.
KM22, I got an agreement, so I got to read this because
okay.
KM22 says,
take that.
Is
win,
it
bud.
Kim too? Kim, how would we read this if it was a robot and Skeleton Crew? How would we read that? Kimchi, right?
K me 22.
Okay,
okay, you are 22.
I would agree with Rob. Favreau's great.
Oh no, it's Cummy 22. It's Cummy 22.
I didn't say that. You said it.
Oh,
and then passing it on for someone else to keep going. I find Favreau to be the same place as JJ, right? Good at starting something, not good at keeping that going, And look, that's not a bad place to be in as a person, like it's just these major brand stories, whatever you want to call them, man. The Game of Thrones is, the Stranger Things, the IPs, the Star Wars is,
large IPs,
right? Whatever you want, dude.
IPs.
I think at this point, everyone is more interested in how they stick the landing than how they start something. Like, I'm going to be perfectly honest. Like, because we stick with it more than we do in the beginning. We're getting more
ending,
at
the end. You don't get paid from the end of the grift. You get paid from the heart of the grift. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
but if you want to burn the bridge of any goodwill, then go ahead and fuck the landing up and just say, well, I was taking a paycheck, so I didn't care, and see where that gets you. So
no, but I mean, in my lifetime, I have never seen any of these fuckers be happy with any of the other landings. Not Lost, not Who Shot fucking JR when I was just a little kid.
I like the ending of Lost, but I'm in the minority on that one.
No, I like the ending of Lost too, but I mean, I also like the ending of Seinfeld. I don't, because you can't end Seinfeld. Put him in jail. That's
no, you can't end it, and that ending's horrible. And they ended it in that season.
That's good.
The season that goes back, the episode that goes backward in the final season is my last episode, because then the show ends with Seinfeld meeting Kramer, and the whole show loops. So I delete the last episode and make the backwards episode the last episode, which is just
way
normal.
too much work.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not too much work. You got them all in a folder. You delete and replace. It's good to go.
When you have the will they, won't they moonlighting, and then they do, it's done. Nobody's happy with it. Like there just is. I mean, it is truly about the journey. You know what I mean, and not the destination. And it always.
Oh no, I agree with you in that. But
people don't like Return of the Jedi. Right, the true ending of Star Wars is what I've heard, and they don't like that.
Possible.
They don't like Revenge of the Sith. They didn't make Anakin. I don't like Anakin. I don't like how it ends. So okay, fine. Oh, I don't like Episode 9 because it's shit. Because it is, and it's like it just goes on and on. I don't know. Is there an ending where everybody's like, yes?
Well, 9 wasn't an ending. That's a bigger problem. Like that's like this is not a 3-movie saga.
Well, yeah, there is no ending to never-ending serialized content. that's the problem. And that's also why I was saying yesterday, if you make something good in Star Wars, make it and get the fuck out. You cannot win. You will stay at the party too long. JJ, Favreau. So I haven't totally given up on Favreau. I mean, there was, I think, a season, I think Mandalorian season 3 should have been a different show. And because it was going just for such a different tone and doing different things, and it would have been stronger for it. It would have been stronger if it was another Mandalorian protagonist, and Din could have been in it, and all of that, and they went through the machinations of their Klingon style bullshit. Yeah.
But I'm not
crazy about
belly of a bird thing for 3 days and all that stuff.
Stuff like monster movie stuff is fine. It fucking.
But then they don't do anything with it. They don't do anything. They don't show the whole thing from the kid's perspective. I'm not saying the ideas aren't something, but then they don't do anything with it. It's just like look at plays like an ABC TV movie from the 70s. And
Mhm.
I get Favreau grew up with that stuff, but I don't want to sit through it anymore. I don't want to sit through the Ewok adventure anymore. You know,
What?
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Dude, I heard Cindel's like 37 now. She's fucking divorced. She's single,
I
ready
knew
to
you'd look
mingle.
up Sindel the minute you got divorced.
No,
You're
I'm
like, what's she
kidding.
doing? Like,
What's up with Sindel? I had a crush on you when I was 5.
Never let it go.
Yeah. Ben says, now that you mention it, to be honest, I'm not sure what property I like the ending of. That's actually a really good point, Jason. I'm not sure of a property I was super happy with on how they ended. Yeah, I don't know. And you know, a little bit of it is just like knee jerk reaction.
Full Metal
like,
Alchemist is brilliant. I'll go through a list of them.
nerd.
Breaking Bad was great. Better Call Saul is great. I'd say what people say. I actually like the ending to Quantum Leap. Like I like the having no ending.
You know what, Rob? You
Star
had me
Trek
at
Next
Alf.
Generation was.
You had me at Alf, and you didn't even say it.
Deep Space Nine is great. The Alf ending is just mean.
It's good. It's good.
It's good though. But Dinosaurs was a great ending where they all die.
You know, with Alf, I was really confused as a child if he wanted to eat the cats or fuck the cats. Part of me suspected he wanted to fuck the cats.
Nobody thought that ever, Jay. I didn't get it till now. You're horrible. You're horrible.
I wasn't sure. Sometimes it plays like a joke, and you're like, what does he want to do with the cat? You know what I mean? And you're like a little kid, and you're like, and I would ask, and they would say like he wants to eat it, and I'm like, are you lying to me?
The Avatar cartoon's pretty good. You know?
Jedi Mike, I believe he's referring to Family Ties, the final episode. Alex doesn't live here anymore. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. But
yeah.
What?
But the 3 Bourne movies are great. It's when they keep going. I'm like, why did you do that? You know, like the Bourne Legacy is better than that Bourne movie where Damon came back. That was pretty bad, dude. That's like the Die Hard films that keep going. You're like, don't.
No, it's so KM said, "Oh wait, TV, not movies." My bad. No, you can do any endings. I just think that it.
But this is a TV show
on whole.
You know?
Yeah, I know. But on whole, people do not like the last, even if it's a book. You know what I mean? Like when I was younger, the 5th Vampire Chronicle, Memnock the Devil, people didn't like it. I liked it. Thought it was fine. But I also like. I think like some people don't see the potential closing down in something. And then they still believe in the show because of the past like happiness that it brought them, and they can't see like, oh no, this world is getting smaller as we approach the end, and they don't see it, and then therefore the ending is like not good. And then when it goes the other way, and then the ending just does what they want, it doesn't feel earned. So it's I see the ending of the endings usually as kind of a catch-22. You're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't with them. But with Star Wars, it's a bit weirder because like Episode 9 with Rey. I mean, it's easy to say now, but I don't think anybody left Episode 9 saying we're never going to see Rey, Poe, and Finn again. Nobody really should have thought that. I mean, you'd be kind of crazy too, I think, with as much as they would milk everything, and that they will milk everything. And I'm here for it. You know what I mean? I'm down for it. Like keep it going. I see every new story as an opportunity for something great. Like we always say, the best Star Wars probably hasn't been made yet, you know?
And I like Game of Thrones. That season just needed to be 2 seasons. Just everything happened too fast. That's the only problem is all those things occurred too quickly. Like people are flying and traveling up and down that country in like 30 minutes, and it used to take them a whole season.
Yeah,
that's
like
it's not what happened, it's the time in which everything happened.
Yeah, you know? I like and with Game of Thrones, I don't hate the ending for what it is. I like it in the macro sense, the big side of it, like the bullet points of the history. It's good. It's the micro stuff that's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, the fight between the Mountain and his brother on those steps, when to me is how I envisioned the Obi-Wan Vader fight when I was a kid, like at the volcano, you know, when that was the whole thing. Like that was
the wording usually like literally used to be they fought on the side of a volcano. Like
that's what I
they
saw
said.
when I was watching that. Like I was like, this is the closest I'm ever gonna get to see that sort of thing. I didn't know they fought like at the mineral thing off Interstate 67, you know, you know, 3 blocks away from Knott's Berry Farm. Like,
oh yeah, Cam says I would agree, Jason. I also think that fan theories play into that. People latch onto made up ending and then are pissed when a decent ending isn't their ending. Yeah, I felt that way about Mad Men, there was this theory that he was DB Cooper, and it lines up that John Hamm's character was DB Cooper, Don Draper was DB Cooper, and it all lines up. And like all the things down to the company with DB and everything. And I was like, fuck, that's a, and, you know, I thought it was going to end with the skyjacking and him disappearing. And I was like, yeah, like I was like, oh shit, if they do that, that's so fucking cool. And then it didn't happen. And at the end, he's just like a hippie, you know, getting therapy. And you're like, okay, I guess. You know what I mean? But
And
yeah,
you'll
that
never
was,
see me do theories. You never see me do theories on this show. I don't speculate what I think will happen in a show or movie. I tell you, I don't care. It's for them to present to me what happens.
yeah,
I care about, you know, whether I think they'll do a good job or what I think, you know, blah, 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 blah. What do I think someone will bring to a project? But I don't go, oh, these storylines are going to line. You'll never hear that shit from me. I learned my
Yeah.
lesson with the Matrix sequels. I've told the story a million times, but I'll reiterate it for some of the newbies. You know, when that second Matrix movie came out, I thought it was a bloated, you know, thing, but I was like, you know, there's a lot of cool shit in here. There's a cool, interesting bits, you know. And I thought the thing at the end when Neo ends up in their real world and he stops a Sentinel on his own, I thought, oh, he's in another Matrix, right? He's not like he can control the robots. It's that they made another They made a Matrix because you'd want to escape.
he's
right?
talking about Matrix Inception is what he's saying.
Because in the first movie, they're like, oh, we made a really happy place and we had to make it really shitty for them to buy into it. Well, you'd have to have if you have to escape that, humans need to escape to a more persecuted place for them to believe in reality, right? They can't live in happiness. Like maybe this is a thing about, you know, not willing to accept, you know, a happy life. I mean, something else there. Turns out none of that shit. No, it really can just control robots and shit. You know, that third movie comes along, and I'm like, fuck this. I'll never speculate on a storyline ever again.
I am convinced, and no one's going to change my mind on this, is that the creators of the Matrix read Neuromancer, ripped off the best ideas above their pay grade, and then didn't know what to do after that. And I would even, you know, I think that's really, really, truly what happened. And if anybody ever wants to make a new Matrix, they should literally just make Neuromancer as opposed to...
I want to deal with this now. I bet Rob's got his own Avatar theory, fan fiction storyboards all over his room. That's why we never see a live view of him. No, first off, go watch all the original shows where I am live. Just I work. Two, I don't think of anything. I have no fan theories. I do know, based on what he's talked about the story, you know, and you can go watch. There's a great... just James Cameron, Avatar 2, there's a 4-way conversation with him and all the writers, right? About the story. And what I can glean from it is the book Strangers in a Strange Land is probably the thing that influenced them the most. And that's kind of where the story is going, you know?
Yeah.
Come 22. I know.
No, it's important, I think, it's fine to follow along. And it's fine to have your pet theories, but you also just need to be mature enough when you watch a story to be like, yeah, it might not go that way. And then when it is disappointing, then it is okay to be like, yeah, either that was disappointing to me. Like I had better ideas, or there were better ideas, but also like
it's so not my ideas. It's when they have things clearly on the table that they're not using. And it's like, why didn't you use what's already there? Like I get, maybe the guy writing Mad Men, I never watched the show, doesn't know a damn thing about DB Cooper. He didn't never listen to Kid Rock, right? He doesn't know, you know, doesn't know the lyric, doesn't know the bit. But if there's stuff on the table that they're not utilizing, and you're just like, why leave that there? Like, why, for the love of God, would you do things like make Moff Gideon into... I don't know. Why would you make Moff Gideon into such a cartoonish guy? You know, when you have when you have villains like Herzog, you know, the German
Werner
dude.
Herzog.
Thank you, Werner. I cannot. I'm bad with names. No fucking way I remember that.
It would
Werner
be cool
Herzog.
if a bear was brought to the set and the Mandalorian had to fight him for his honor. And if he wins, we will see his face this season. I think that's the rules we're playing by now.
We will make the kids do all the stunts, you know.
Stunts, kids, is what you need.
I was in a boat in Brazil and we made the kids do the stunts, you know. It took 7 years. You know?
Yeah. I was going to take my life, and then I saw the stunt kids, and I knew I could not die.
Or here's the thing that was left on the table, like Bo-Katan just sitting there doing nothing, right? And you like, that's a good shot for her to go to her flashback to her as a kid, so you can see her and Gideon, and you can actually experience these things. They're just going to tell us in a speech later. Like, who the fuck cares? Don't tell me in a speech later. Like, let's see the stuff. She's just sitting there, like, okay, you know.
Got a funny story about Jonesy's comment. So I heard that Lucas often changed the script and story on the same day they shot the current scenes. Ian had to learn the Windu fight in 5 minutes. So some of that is true, but what is Ian McDiarmid is a badass Emperor Palpatine. He's brought so much to a Star Wars. He is one of my favorite actors in all of Star Wars, and by all accounts, he is the worst sword fighter in the history of the franchise. That is like it was like trying to teach an 80-year-old man how to ride a bike who never learned how to ride a bike. Like that's what I have heard that several times. Ian and lightsaber fights not ideal, and Lucas was all about that face swapping stuff, and it sounded like to me like he knew it wasn't going to work out and allowed it not to work out to further and justify face swapping technology at ILM and to make them have to do it. Not that his word wasn't the word of God there, but it definitely was a motivating factor to have them solve that. And so that's why that kind of went that way. And it was true, but he was things did get to change a lot, like on the set, because you do have the auteur in this instance. When he just has a better idea or something else he wants to try, they would do it. But it does seem
that scene is ridiculous. All those guys just stand there and get killed, and
Well, did you see that cool movie, man? Nobody's ever seen that before.
I know, we know why.
Trust me, in fucking Fortnite, if somebody walked up and did that to us, we would all get white. We'd be like, what?
I stand by it. The best prequel is still The Phantom Menace. I stand by that. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, well, you're allowed to be wrong sometimes. Werner Furzad. Sounds like a new Star Wars character. Werner Furzad.
And
the Del Taco app is giving me 2 full weeks of Del's best offers.
They know their audience.
Yeah.
They know their audience.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like the like sword fighting kind of jazz and all that kind of stuff, yeah, that was like, when you watch it, the face swap stuff on a lot of it is really bad today. If you pause certain scenes in Revenge of the Sith and just like look at it, it looks like PlayStation like 3 graphics on the face and stuff. There's a couple of moments, for me, that stuff though, I'm fine with all of that. Like I saw it like that was like overcoming a limitation. My annoying thing that George Lucas did was just stuff like Count Dooku doing flips off of balconies, because
I didn't like any of that.
It's like I could imagine George's brain. He's like, I'm making fucking Christopher Lee do flips off of things. Like, fucking the future's now and I'm here. I'm William Gibson, motherfucker. I'm William Gibson. You're the Matrix. And but yeah, that's the stuff where it's like, yeah, you know what?
I made him do the Thriller dance. And I made Christopher watch it several times.
One of these?
Yeah.
The Thriller, was that the Thriller dance?
Yeah.
I think I can remember.
Yeah, like a crab, like a little crab shuffle. Yeah,
little truffle shuffle.
Yeah, I made John Knoll work on that just for fucking with me. Yeah.
Ben says, yeah, here's the thing, guys. Based on Laugh Out Loud, take that for what it is. But Revenge of the Fifth novel, I think it means Sith, pretty much says Sidious is moving so fast like a blur. Maybe that's why. Yeah, it's just he just kind of attacks him like a.
Hey, the Phantom Menace novel has a lot of better scenes in it too, but it's not the movie. So
well, I mean, it is. Yeah, that's not a knock on the movie when the novel was literally designed to make everything, grow everything, and make it better. You know what I mean? Like even if the movie was a 5-star fucking perfect film, that novel still would have done that. And people
like opening the movie, like opening the book with Anakin pod racing and fucking his pod up made more sense. And
yeah,
energy right out the gate.
Yeah. No, if well, I mean, like in terms of that, I mean that's just him copying himself and not introducing Luke for the first 20 minutes. Like that's him doing that kind of and trying to make that kind of this to that to this to that kind of structure. But the truth is the Phantom Menace didn't need the In New Hope structure. It was a much more complex story. So that's where I think he fails at one part of his script writing process, is just not seeing, oh man, I'm telling a more complex story here. So he decided to take a complex story and make it as simple as possible, which ends up relying on the implication, and so is what it is. Skullcrest Academy, a Patreon supporter who I very much appreciate, says it's more like Palp shooting lightning in both directions, left then right. Yeah,
back into the left.
Mm-hmm.
Into the left.
Yeah. I know. I would still love like one of those Tales of the Jedi style shows someday, just to like really lay it out for my dumb brain, like the whole transformation process that happens to him. You know, like I would love to see that from like somebody else's perspective that just really explains it to my dumb brain, because I know that I know what the answers are.
Because in reality is he should have been just looked like that the whole time, and he'd been hiding his appearance, right? He just revealed himself, but Lucas couldn't commit to that fucking idea for some dumb reason. It tried to do this like magical thing with the visual where it sort of happens and doesn't. It's very JJ in a way where you're just like, just
it's non-committal. It's non-committal. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's like he uses that. Oh, they deformed and disfigured me and all that stuff.
It's better if he looks like that and lies. You know, now you can show who he is and blame that on the. That's way better. It's just a stronger. Again, that's sitting right there to do, and clearly he just doesn't want to do it because he's like, oh, like a fucking whatever.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of those things that one of the reasons that I'm on board. I hate the idea of a Darth Vader movie. That's a bad idea. That will not be good. That will not work. I don't believe it will. Not if he's like the actual protagonist. It just doesn't work. But the idea of young Palpatine with a different protagonist who is connected to him in some meaningful way and goes up above, in his ascent towards madness or whatever. That's interesting to me. I would like to see them do something like that. I would like to see, I would loop that shit into that episode 9 stuff about how he's every Sith, about what was this guy doing in his early 20s or his early 30s that like leads to Houston. You know what I mean? No, well, with the like cultists and shit, like you have like a real opportunity for like a Rosemary's Baby set in Star Wars. You know what I mean? There's like with or the Omen, and like, you know what I mean? Like these cultists come in on Naboo and they fucking take over the family. They know that guy has the potential. They hide him from the Jedi so he doesn't get abducted and taken into the Order. You know what I mean? All this like cult, like weird kind of shit. And then you could get to this point where you're like, yeah, is he deformed? You could deform him and then have him do the magic that makes him look like Senator Palpatine, this unassuming fucking loser from Naboo. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. And like, I think that there is a story there that could be done on Disney Plus or a film if they wanted to, and would be a lot more intriguing for the adult fans, like for the Andor audience, if handled right. Palpatine.
Well, it's going to come down to us seeing how Leslie Headland, the toner work, ends up being.
I don't think that's going to do that though. I think it's going to be like a cop show disguised as a Star Wars show, but with Jedi lightsabers in it a lot. And so I don't know, like I don't know, like when you watch LA Law or something, how much of it's like political, and that's where it ends up like, I don't know what to expect. I hope so though. I mean, but I think it's going to be like, oh, we have evidence of like Nemodians taking money from some unknown donor, and then them like looking into it. Like, for instance, that's a bad idea. It's kind of weak, but probably something like that. And I don't think it'll. I don't know. I don't know what to expect because
you took all our money.
But like I said, it won't do that. Like they have Nemodians.
We'll see, Jason. You ask your executive friends.
You really think you really think though? I mean, Disney would do it. I don't think Disney would do it. I don't think they would do it.
Let's see.
Let's
see.
In
fact, got to keep it consistent, right? You got to keep it consistent. Well, they talk that way in the Clone Wars cartoon.
That was George Lucas, and I could be wrong, but I don't think we've ever seen the Nemodians or Newt Gunray used in the Disney era on screen in a new appearance.
No, that's why I'm saying I'm very curious to see how this goes. Like, it's the thing I know it's petty, but it's the thing I'm most interested in. I'm just fat. Like, will they do this or will they not? And then if they don't, will fans go, that's not my Nemodians. My Nemodians are Japanese racial stereotypes. And we're not going to be talking about the show. We're going to be talking about she's too chicken shit to do it, right? Like that. Well, Lucas would have done it. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, it's a shit show. It's going to happen one way or the other, Jason. I'm telling you.
Just remember, if Lucas did Andor for no reason at all, who's the old guy in Andor? Luthen would have had like an Italian accent for no reason at all. I'm here to tell you.
He goes, hold on. I know what Lucas was. He'd go like this. He go. Yeah, I mean the Mario Brothers. It's the Mario Brothers movie is pretty good. We're gonna have something like that in our next film. You'll see. And then he goes. Then Luthen shows up. I'm a Luthen. I don't like the Empire. No.
Get you hooked on the brothers. The brothers.
Just like
the brothers.
Just like when that dude. Hey, remember when Ernie Hudson showed up on the Mario Brothers show? That was great.
Oh, of course.
Ghostbuster.
Ghostbuster 2. It was a Ghostbuster 2. Remember that?
Really good.
Yeah.
But look, that's how Lucas. He talks shit after the Matrix came out. We're gonna have better fights and attack. You're gonna see, and then Attack of the Clones is some of the worst fighting I've ever seen.
Yeah,
probably the worst fighting I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie. Like, it's probably Attack of the Clones. Like,
what
Revenge of the Sith is way better.
What do you mean though? What fight? What fights?
Any of the Obi-Wan Jango fights boring. Like, makes no just
no.
Whatever.
That's you're just on a hating tirade.
The Jedi's running with rubber hands and heads at one another behind a blue screen. Really dumb.
Yeah, that I figured.
3PO being dragged around, put his head on a droid to cut.
Oh, this is such a drag.
The Dooku with the CGI bot face and the bot dumb,
Oh, that Anakin fight at the end with him and the lightsaber in the dark is fucking cool as shit.
No.
Yeah, that's fucking badass.
No,
and it was the first time that they ever used a light rod.
The only sequence in that movie worth watching is when the Geonosis orb is taken off and it crashes and then all that dust kicks up, and that's completely.
You're just a 9/11er. You just love 9/11 imagery. That's all.
I've seen what you make in Lego Fortnite. Don't start.
I didn't do that. That wasn't me. That was somebody else.
I'll rat you out, Jason. I know what you're.
I didn't do that. I have a quaint little village in Lego Fortnite.
Well, here's the thing. I want to say, man, Rob wants canon to be consistent with other Nemodians. Hey, man, I was just told that all these things link up and you have to do it if it was in the cartoon. You have to do the Darth Maul died at Kenobi because that happened in the cartoon. You have
but Rob,
Nemodians not going in the cartoon.
Rob, like, I've already told you though. They don't all have the same accent in the movies that you don't watch.
They're all talking that way though.
No, they're not all talking that way. That's what I'm telling you. They don't. No, they end by Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, you cannot like the voice, but to say that they're all Asian stereotypes is just not actually factually true. Magnetize! It's
Let's get an Asian friend out there to yell magnetize and see what it sounds
like. So what we have to assume is that Cato Nemodia has multiple continents, and some are it's an American continent, and one's a Japanese continent.
Stereotypes, and some of them are American stereotypes. You think the other ones speak like Spicoli, like it's just a planet of stereotypes? Like, oh, dude, totally Nemodians. The Jedi are here gonna totally mess us up.
You're offending me right now with that. That's very offensive to Californians.
Yeah, you goddamn right. You want to know how? Hey, look. Today is the grand opening of the In-N-Out in Meridian, Idaho, buddy, and we're gonna go make the trip. That line is gonna be down the street. It's gonna be the longest I ever waited for In-N-Out.
Yeah.
That's
what are you gonna get when you go? What are you gonna have?
Double animal style.
The burger is animal style, or animal style with the fries?
Burger's animal style. I bring my own ketchup for my fries. I like the fries with ketchup. I know people hate the fries, but I like them.
Wait, you bring your own ketchup? You fucking weirdo! Why?
Yeah, because it has less sugar. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do you use? Hunts? You a huntsman?
No, just whatever.
Helen Hunt? Helen Hunts?
Huh? Yeah, Helen Hunts. Helen
Um,
Thompson.
yeah, I won't do the animal style burger because if I'm really picking out, I like the animal style fries, animal style burger, and animal style fries. Too much animal style.
Can't do, yeah, can't do.
You
I like
can't
it
do
on the
both.
burger, not the fries.
Yeah, I like it on the fries. So
Yeah.
that makes us we won't fight over the food.
We
But
could do a fist fight over the food. Making Star Wars is fucking each other up over what? In and out. Yeah, that's about
the
right.
weirdest part was there was blood, there was tears, there was snot. Then at the end, they acted like nothing happened. They just went right back to normal.
Like, were they wearing white robes? Were they wearing white robes?
Yeah.
All right.
Spreezy, you were in the fight. Your hair got a little messed up, but then went right back to being perfect, and we hate you for it.
And Roka, just go back and just watch him gush over that dude's hair. It's a great clip. Like
KM22 says they don't have to keep the dialect consistent. And tells the Jedi Yaddle speaks normally, not backwards like Yoda. Yeah, that actually popped up first in the High Republic novels. Was the first time I think we saw Yaddle speaking in current canon, I think. And it was like, oh, she's speaking normally. There's no backwards talk kind of shit going on. And
Yoda didn't speak backwards all the time. Lucas
No.
made that happen. He only speak backwards when he had sage-like shit to say. He spoke normally otherwise.
He spoke. He wasn't a fortune cookie.
The writing of Yoda.
He was when he became an icon is when he became iconic for it. That they played into it harder. You know,
he became Yoda Man.
Yoda Man, worst marketing thing of all time. When people like to talk about how Star Wars was R-worded by Disney and so, oh no, my friend, if you were around in 2002, you saw Yoda Man being the ad campaign, and it was not good. But what was funny was when they did the Yoda poster like it was Spider-Man, because they were competing with Spider-Man. That was funny, and that was a win. So it was a I hate you, I love you kind of like back and forth on it, you know. How dare you? And you did it, you know. It was funny.
Hate that movie. Yeah, but I like it more than I like Revenge of the Sith. You do that math.
Revenge of the Sith is I think the best Star Wars movie, so agree to disagree.
But it's Rise of Skywalker. Sorry, I meant Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker is.
I meant Rise of Skywalker. It's the R's and S's. It's all the colors confuse my brain.
Yeah, I would say Rise of Skywalker has become my current decade's Back to the Future Part 3. I tear it up, then I watch it and feel like, you know what, I was a little too hard. It's not that bad. Then I watch it the next time, I'm like, no, it was that bad. And then it's a vicious cycle. And so
Back to the Future 3 you can watch. It's more like RoboCop 2. You can't watch this. You can't. I like
RoboCop.
It has an interesting mech in it, but it's unwatchable.
Man, I want to try Nuke. Would you ever do Nuke if I could get some?
No. No.
Come on.
I don't. Come on.
I'll buy that for $1.
Food. I've done enough harm to my body with food. I don't need anything else.
A little bit of Nuke, you know. Yeah. Yeah. So what did we learn today? We learned some character names from the Acolyte. We learned that they got walkie-talkies. We learned about KB. We learned about Sammy, or SM33. We learned walkie-talkies. We learned that endings are never good. They can't please everybody.
Not true.
Usually it's usually true though. It's usually true.
I don't agree with it. I like the ending to pretty much every Quentin Tarantino film. I think that you got
okay. Rob, specifically, we're talking about serialized content, not one movie that had a good ending.
Serialized content.
Yeah, serialized content.
I can point to again. I'll tell you, man. Full Metal Alchemist. It's an anime, but it was a manga. But I'm telling you, man, like that.
I like the end of Attack on Titan, and then but I see people
I haven't seen it yet,
that.
so we're gonna watch that.
Yeah, I liked it, and when you do watch it, sit through the credits. The credits had me laughing. I thought it was
even
hilarious.
The Avatar cartoon, the Airbender cartoon, had a pretty good ending.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I don't remember it now. I did watch it, and I remember enjoying it. And I don't remember it now.
You don't remember the statue?
Yeah,
all that
it's
stuff.
just been too long. It's too much stuff has happened since that
Also, I
point.
really like Gurren Lagann. A lot of anime does the endings the best, but that's because of the manga. Like they're really good.
Ooh,
Well, ooh,
that new Frasier is awful. I got like Peacock on like a Black Friday deal, and I've been watching through it, and oh man, it's like it's the Frasier character, and then all the supporting characters are just completely garbage. Like everything that worked about the original Frasier show, as well as Cheers, like those characters where you're like, you're such a dumb asshole, but you love that character still at the same time. They do not understand. It's like they saw young Sheldon. They're like, let's put young Sheldon style fucking people around Frasier. But he's kind of a dumbass anyway, so fuck him too. Bajimbo says, hot take, The Last Crusade is the best indie movie. You are correct, but I guess that's no longer the final movie in the series, but still the best ending to the series.
best
Hands
ending to
down.
the series, but it's not the best movie in the series.
Yeah, it's best. It's the best one. It's the best one. When
Nope.
his dad shoots the tail,
No.
I'm sorry, son.
Tapestries?
They got
No,
us.
the tapestries?
Yeah,
No,
tapestries.
no,
And he
no,
says Mickey
no,
Mouse, and you're like, oh shit, Mickey
no,
said Mickey Mouse.
no, no,
Yeah,
no, no,
yeah.
no,
And
no.
I'm gonna
That
throw it out there.
disqualifies it.
I'm gonna throw it
Tapestries
out there.
disqualifies it. It's ridiculous.
Also has the most fuckable girl in from Indiana Jones love
No,
interest.
that's
She's
Kate
the best.
Capshaw. That's Kate
No,
Capshaw.
no,
It's
not
so much
even
so the
close.
director did it. Like,
Yeah, no,
broke up
no.
a whole. No, Kate Capshaw's far
I,
finer.
I was watching Close Encounters over the Thanksgiving, and I was like looking at the mom in Close Encounters. I'm like, Spielberg definitely had a type, you know. Like when you look at the mom in
Yeah.
Close Encounters, not
Oh,
what's her
Terry
name.
Garr.
No, not Terry Garr. Terry Garr is that
Oh,
Indy should have done it.
Terry Garr is.
No, I'm talking about the
I
mom of
refuse.
the
I know,
little
but I
boy.
refuse to believe that Richard Dreyfuss is leaving Terry Garr for her. Like, I just don't buy that. Like, I'm sorry.
You know what though? I mean, okay,
Not being
you
cruel. I'm
peak,
just saying.
when you peak, you get a little full of yourself and you think, if I've got here, how much higher can I go? And he's thinking like intergalactic Terry Garr. He's thinking like Buck Rogers in the 24th century, whatever the fuck this shit was called. That's where his mind is at. He's like, oh no, this is only the beginning. That was Earth. Now it's to the stars. Now, do I think it really worked out for him?
It's why I think The Abyss is a better version of Close Encounters than Close Encounters. So.
Yeah.
I get Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Masterson. I get that. You know, I get fighting for that.
Yeah. What I find weird about the Close Encounters ending, and I know Spielberg has said it like a lot, like, oh, you know, I wouldn't have done that today. It was just a weird choice that he and his family just didn't go. Like they didn't take the whole family. That's what was a little bit weird about it. I think about the choice even for 77 era Spielberg.
And I don't see him. He already has 2 kids. He's gonna leave his wife for another chick and a kid. I don't know. It's just I don't buy any of that.
I mean, to be fair though, Terry Garr in that movie does seem like a real bitch. Like she seems like
but look at her. We'll put up with a lot, Jason.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I don't think she's fucking anymore, dude. I don't think she's fucking. So I think he's like just feeding Terry Garr, eating her shit.
Well, she's not fucking a guy playing mashed potatoes on his fucking like he's Steve Martin in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, right?
But I'm pretty sure if we went around and we said we were talking to aliens and we were making mashed potato mountains because of some spiritual mumbo jumbo, I think we could probably pull some pretty cute chicks doing it. Just saying. There was
no. I'm thankful for my wife. I pull no hot chick. That's not my trick in life. I can't do that.
Fair enough.
I pulled one, and I'm like, hold on to that for dear life, you know, because I'm gonna be dog guy after that. Like it's all over.
Jonesy says Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is the best indie because of Shia. Old and new mix of stuff. Yeah, that's right. Hey man, you're entitled to your opinion.
Some people like to see the world burn, Jason.
I like I said, I like that movie up until like you get to that third act and then it's like, you know, it's not completely a throwaway. I'm still getting Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. And like that alone carries a lot of weight for me. But Soundwave says Close Encounters is my jam, best 5-note sequence in music history. Yeah, I was thinking about like, you know, the like I don't remember, are they in India in one of the scenes? And they're like, and they sing it like with the words. I want to know what the words are. Do you know what the words are? Like, what are they saying? Like Allah in that? I couldn't tell. Like,
I remember we watched it on the laser disc, and I can't remember what it was. My
yeah,
film teacher in high school was really big on. I love that movie.
I was cooking and I could hear it in another room, and I'm like, what are they saying? And I meant to look it up, and I just never did.
I do love that movie. I just think The Abyss does that whole thing better. But that being said,
Mhm.
Close Encounters is probably the best straight UFO. Like, I don't consider The Abyss to be
Well,
a UFO movie. It's kind of like a UFO adjacent.
it's also like a
But
decade later ish, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, I know. It does it
Yeah.
first. It's great, But the problem with the Close Encounter is they can't decide. Again, you can't decide on a real. I don't know, like where he goes in the fucking stupid ship, man, and you see inside. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah. See, I find it funny. Ben says I like a lot of the Crystal Skull stuff, but they really need to cut out the monkey stuff. And it's like when for me, when the monkey stuff is happening, that's not, to me, not like the problem with the movie. That is what everybody says, but I'm like, no, like the three waterfalls, that just cuts the momentum of the movie puts on the brakes on the whole film. Stuff like that. And obviously, I have always said, we said it too, Marion shit eating grain, which is pretending to drive a car like she's driving a
Yeah.
car on wheels at Disneyland, or on a
Like,
track at Disneyland, like, kind of thing. It's just like, oh, that's yeah, she's
that ain't
very
the character.
horrible in it.
That's
Yeah,
almost like, when someone's playing Marion at Disneyland. You know what I mean? And you're just
yeah.
trying to be like, you got the costume on, and you're being super sweet. It's like that. What are we doing, man?
There's a really badass sequence in Clone Wars when they find Sifo-Dyas's ship where he dies in the sand. He dies like on this ship, and he's like in this place. And when the Jedi are like kind of catching on to the mystery of what's been happening behind the scenes, and they did it all like Close Encounters, where you have like that desert with like the missing ships, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Like, all
Yeah,
the stuff's out there. It's shot really, really nice.
I've seen it, the
Clone Wars.
submarine. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah,
But in order to get
but
that back in the movie, he had to add. The studio made him add the go in the ship bit, and I'm like, that shit's just fucking horrible, dude.
mhm.
It's never should see inside the ship.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the him going with him at the end. I actually think that's fine. He was being
Yeah,
called for a reason and all that. But yeah, it was a thing of either really really do it or don't do it with the ship sequence. For me, that's kind of where I fall on it. But I'm pretty ready for the movie to end at that point, so it doesn't bother me. I'm like, yeah, let's get the fuck out of here now. Yeah, I also love the opening of Crystal Skull as well. I mean, like, all of the stuff, like with them starting to fight in the soda shop and everything, and the general chemistry between Indy and
well,
Mutt
the opening's the
is pretty
warehouse.
good.
It's not really the opening.
I'm saying the whole opening though. Like, there's the opening 20, and then there's the thing, but like the whole first act of that film is really really solid. I think the stuff with the choreography with the Russians all lining up and how they do and stuff, it's good. But once again, like, that this is an example of nothing is perfect, but everybody's talking about the fucking CGI golfer that you see at the start that doesn't matter, and then but then they overlook all of the good stuff, and then
The least of
but
my issues with that film, dude.
yeah, but you're not the discourse around the film. The discourse around the film is the golfer and the monkeys.
Discourse sucks.
You know what I mean? But
Morons.
okay, thank you, Soundwave. They're saying Aya Ray Aya, which basically means arrival or came. Thank you. Yeah, see, I didn't know that. That definitely, I could have guessed it was something like that, but then I
Of
started.
course, Soundwave would have it figured out, right?
Soundwave's great. Soundwave's got it. Soundwave's like,
They are chanting Araya basically means arrival or came.
yeah.
And then his
He's
little
like,
cassette stock shit to you. That's right. You don't know shit, motherfucker.
he pulls out a cassette, 1977, puts it in, has the documented evidence.
Yeah. And then Rumble fucks your shit up, right? Like,
Shogun says, did the theatrical version of Close Encounters show inside the ship?
a re-release. There was a re-release.
There's theatrical, re-release, and directors, right? I think there's 3.
Yeah.
Something like
the
that.
re-release was where the studio made him. He wanted the desert shots and a few other things, but he really wanted that submarine in the desert. And in order to do that, they were like, all right, but we want to see inside the ship. So he had to go back with Richard Dreyfuss and film all that and make some shit up. And the director's cut basically omits that and just gives you all the way he wanted it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I own the directors digitally. That's the one I watch.
Good transfer too.
All right. Well, we did it, man. We did it. Let's get out of here. Let's go eat.
Yeah,
I'm
we gotta
hungry.
go.
You hungry? I'm hungry.
No, I ate, but I just want to go. I'm tired of talking about Star Wars.
All right,
So no.
everybody. Yeah. We'll see everybody tomorrow. We'll be talking about the news du jour. I think my half sister, Bespin Bulletin, has a little scoop if he's not a lazy bones. I don't think he'll be a lazy bones. I think he'll do it. And we'll cover that tomorrow. Probably 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'd say. All right, everybody. Have a good one. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Bye, Rob. Say bye, Rob.
Bye, Rob.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go.
Hey, it's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go.
Hey, it's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go.
Hey, you know you should.
Go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.